Today we're going to be making raw sour cream Gap style, and we're going to do that with just some raw cream and some yogurt. So if this is interesting to you, please stay tuned. The recipe in the Gap's book mostly has instructions for how to cook it, but she does say in the book that if you have raw cream that you shouldn't cook it. So I'm going to warm it up a little bit. I found some recipes online. It was very difficult to find any on how to make this, but the ones that I did find said to warm it up slightly. I know with yogurt you want to get it to about like 110 degrees or so. I think I'm just going to warm this up to between 90 and 100, very slowly. There we go. So I'm just going to let this warm up very slowly, and I'll bring you guys back when this is between 90 and 100 degrees, somewhere around there, and we'll go for the next step. Our cream has reached the temperature that we wanted it to. I got it to about 97, I think it was. So now I'm going to split this into two different jars. These are just old spaghetti jars. I kind of use them for fermenting. That way I'm not using my good canning jars for that. So this yogurt is 5.3 ounces. So we're just going to split it evenly among the two jars. So it does just say ounces on the jar. It doesn't say fluid ounces. So let's give it a try. Okay, so now I'm realizing I screwed up slightly on that one, and I should have pre-measured it into these things. So we're going to improvise because it's already in the jar, and what's done is done. So I'm just going to pour a wee bit of this in here and shake it out. Hopefully that'll be good enough. Swirl it around. Kind of making it up as I go, because I screwed that up. And now what I'm going to do with these, let it go for about 24 to 48 hours. All the recipes that I found is basically just until it's thick. That's all you really can go by. They all use heavy cream, raw heavy cream, and I don't have heavy cream, so I can't imagine it would get as thick as theirs would. But hopefully we'll get at least kind of close, and if anything, we'll just have some nice fermented milk. Well, it's going to be thicker no matter what, but so... we're going to wrap this in a towel, and I'm going to put it on top of the fridge, which is the warmest place that I can find in my house. And we're just going to let it go for 24 to 48 hours. Keep checking on it every once in a while, give it a shake, and I'll bring you guys back when it's all done, and I can show you if it succeeded or not. It's been probably about 6 or 7 days since we made the sour cream, and I already kind of ate one of them. They taste delicious, but it's not very thick, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you the results of round one. I mean, it's definitely thicker than cream, without a doubt. But You can see kind of in the jar, maybe you can see in the jar, it's got a bunch of stuff all over the side. And like I said, it's really good. It tastes delicious. I'm adding it to soups every day. And I had never really been one to add sour cream or anything like that to soups, but when I tried this one, I'm kind of hooked, and it's really good. It just adds a different flavor to it and a creaminess. It's just delicious. So we are going to try again tomorrow, and I will bring you back for that. It's the next day here, and we are going to try the sour cream again. Today I'm going to try it 2 different ways. First is going to be almost the same way with the raw cream, and this is just regular cream. It's not heavy whipping cream or anything. And then we have this organic heavy whipping cream that has been pasteurized. So I'm going to cook the raw cream just up to about 110 degrees, same as I did last time. But this I'm going to go ahead and bring up to like 170 and try the higher temperatures, and then I'm going to cool it back down and add the yogurt culture to it, which I have here. The way that I'm going to do it differently is that I'm going to take a page out of the yogurt book and I'm going to keep it warm instead of just on top of my fridge with the towel covering it. I'm going to actually keep it in my cooler the same way I do with yogurt and keep it at about 110 degrees. I did let the last one ferment for 24 hours, or pardon me, I let it go for 48 hours, and it still didn't thicken. So I'm hoping maybe the temperature, keeping it warm for that whole time might help. And so I'm going to obviously have to refresh the bottle and do all that kind of stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to show you both ways that I'm going to do it, and I'll let you know which one works out best. Alright, so we're just going to bring these both up to temperature. I remember 110 for the raw milk, and then about 170 for the other one. And then we're just going to kind of whisk them and bring them up to temperature on medium heat. Well, medium for my stove. And really, you don't have to whisk them right from the start, I don't think. I usually don't. But you can if you want to. The raw cream is up to temperature. It's up to 110. So we're going to take our yogurt, if we can get it off there, and put it in our measuring cup. Maybe some solid yogurt. Next, we're going to just slowly pour some of this into the yogurt so that it can get used to the temperature, and just enough to get the yogurt to thin out and become pourable. You kind of want to make sure you're going slow. There we go. And then we're just going to slowly pour it into the milk. Very slowly. You just kind of want to drizzle it in there. And now I have 2 different style of jars, so I can keep these, or tell these apart without having to label them or anything like that. Now we're just going to try and get this in here about evenly. There's a bunch of water coming out of my handle. Keep it from coming into my pot here. That didn't work. Anyways, we're just going to wipe these off and transfer them into the cooler. When it gets up to these higher temperatures, it's about 155 right now, you kind of want to make sure you're whisking it pretty regularly so it doesn't stick to the bottom. We've got the water boiling so we can make our jug of hot water. So all I do is I fill it up about that full with tap water that's as hot as my tap will get it. And then I need a funnel. And then top it off with boiling water. That's all there is to it. And obviously this jug I don't use for anything else. All I use it for is just to make yogurt and keep the cooler hot. So I'm not ever gonna, whatever chemicals are in there won't leach into my food because I don't use it for food. So I just have this one dedicated. It's a pretty sturdy jug that's not gonna melt at too low a temperature. So there we go. And careful, it's hot. I think we are at temperature. So we're just going to set this aside and let it cool off, and we want to get it back down to about 110 degrees. So when that's 110 degrees, I'll bring you back. And for now, we're just going to put the jug in the cooler and with the raw milk yogurts and get those ones at least all set up so they don't cool off too much. So the results are in for round 2 of our sour cream experiment. I already know the result of the raw one, but I'll go ahead and show you. It's about the same amount of thickness, but kind of chunky. Smells like sour cream, tastes like sour cream. This one, well, actually all of them, the one I did before as well as these ones, they went for 48 hours. And the ones that we cooked, completely solid. Like literally solid. So if you want to know how to make the sour cream that's completely solid, that's how you do it. Like amazingly thick. Okay. See? Pretty good, huh? So yeah, I mean, if you can consume the cooked version of the dairy, that's a great way to do it. It's organic and it was with the heavy cream. Remember, we cooked it to about 170-ish degrees and then cooled it off, added the yogurt to it, and put it in the cooler, kept it warm. This one, I think I'll probably try my next time making sour cream. I'm going to try it with the raw milk without heating it at all. I'm just going to bring it up to room temperature and see what happens with that. In the GAPS book, she says that you don't need to heat the raw milk at all, and it'll make for a more consistent texture and thickness. So I'm going to go ahead and try that one, and we'll see what happens. I'll bring you back when we're ready to make that one, once I actually go through all of this sour cream. It's a lot. So I'll see you then. Alright, so now we are on our last attempt on making sour cream GAPS style. This time, I'm going to try it with no heat whatsoever. The milk is room temperature. They were so cold. I had it in the fridge. So all we're going to do is just mix the yogurt into the cream, put it in jars, and keep it on top of the fridge or somewhere warm for about 48 hours. And we'll see if this has any better result than warming it up slightly. Making sure the lid is watertight first. Okay, so that's about as easy as it gets, and we'll go ahead and cover these up with a cloth, leave them in a warm place for about 48 hours, and I will bring you back when these have set up, and I'll show you the results, and we'll see if they're any better than warming them up, and if it's worth it or not. So it's been a couple of days and the sour cream is done. That's good. It's got a little bit of foam on top. Hopefully that's not needed. But yeah, it is super thick. I have a thing. It's like, it smells like cheese. It's just super thick. So I think the best way to make sour cream is the easiest way to make sour cream, at least the Gap style way. You get nice, thick, creamy sour cream. And it smells like cheese. Why does it smell like cheese? This sour cream. Some good stuff. Thanks for following the experiment with me, and we've finally figured out how to make the sour cream. I hope you were able to learn something along with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.